welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2025 Honda CR-V Hybrid, courtesy of Ciocca Honda of Hanover in Hanover, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So we're in this one today because this thing gives you insane miles per gallon for an all-wheel drive SUV. You got plenty of space in this thing as well. Excellent styling. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2025 CR-V Hybrid. First one being the Sport, starting at $34,650, Sport L for $37,650, and then the Sport Touring for $41,100. All-wheel drive comes standard on the Sport Touring. For the other two trim levels, front-wheel drive comes standard, but if you wanted to add all-wheel drive, you still can do that. Simply add $1,500 then to either of those prices. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant on the CR-V Hybrid is going to be the same. Powering this beast is a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder with 2 electric motors, putting out 204 horsepower, 247 pound-feet of torque. Power sent to the front wheels or all wheels through an eCVT. 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 7.9 seconds. Top speed, if you're interested, 111 miles per hour. With MPG numbers, here's the best part: 43 in the city, 36 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 40 in the city, 34 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. And I know somebody's going to put in the comments section now after seeing those numbers, because somebody always does, why is the MPGs not higher for the highway number? Why is it higher for the city number? And that's because at slower speeds, typically hybrids go into full EV mode, so it just operates on the battery power. So if I'm just cruising around Hanover here downtown, it's going to be strictly just that battery powered, and that's why you get better MPGs in the city. So that answers the question for you. But anyways, before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the CR-V Hybrid, I do want to mention to you guys the drive modes. And so there's a silver toggle switch located just to the left of the shifter there. Drive modes are going to include Econ, Normal, Sport, and Snow, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the climate control settings as well. And so when I say that, I mean if you put it in that Econ driving mode and you have the AC on, it's going to tailor back that AC a little bit to give you better MPGs. It worked in my Civic back in the day, so it should work plenty fine on the CR-V as well. But so anyways, now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the acceleration here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2025 CR-V Hybrid here up to speed. Alrighty, found our straightaway. Let me come to a complete stop in 3, 2, 1, go! Nice initial pep. I love the way Hondas sound. I don't know why. Even if it's just a CR-V, it sounds good. But yeah, that's plenty of an acceleration. You know what I loved about that acceleration is typically with hybrids, you get a lot of that initial pep. So I've driven so many turbocharged vehicles lately that I'm used to the turbo lag at this point, but this one doesn't have it because it's not turbocharged. So that is wonderful. So plenty of an acceleration to merge you onto the highway. That's pretty darn good. And I was in sport driving mode as well, by the way, in case you didn't see it from the GoPro. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 12.3-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 12.2-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, comes in at 123 feet, which is pretty much right on par for the Chorus there. It's not a super impressive number, but it's not a horrible number either. So typically, I've seen as high as like 139 feet for an SUV. So 123, right where you should be. As far as braking feel goes, it's not a firm braking feel, but it's not a super soft braking feel either. So it's honestly just right, just like the Three Little Bears. It's just right. But anyways, then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. As far as ride quality goes, it's been excellent, like super smooth ride in the CR-V Hybrid here, so definitely don't have any issues with that. As far as steering feel goes, it's kind of just right yet again. It's not a super heavy steering feel like a sports car would be, but it's not a super loose steering feel like you traditionally find in SUVs either. it's right where this thing should be. So absolutely no issues there. As far as cabin noise goes, it's one of the coolest things about driving a hybrid. At lower speeds, it's super quiet. So you can almost not even tell that you're driving. So you got to watch out for other people for that reason, because if you're driving through a parking lot, they don't know that you're driving behind them either. So just keep an eye out for them, because yeah, this thing is super quiet, especially in the cabin as well at lower speeds. But you do get a little bit of road noise at higher speeds, but honestly, it's nothing that would personally bother me. Touching on rear visibility, I got those second row headrests up and they are kind of beefy, but other than that, yeah, I can see perfectly fine out the back, so you shouldn't have any issues with looking out your rear view mirror there. But I did want to also mention though, if you go with the Sport Touring trim level, you will also get rain sensing windshield wipers. So since we have the Sport Touring with us here today, we do have them. So what that means is whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on the windshield wipers for you, kind of like automatic headlights. Just one less thing you got to worry about there. So that's super cool as well. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Honda CR-V Hybrid. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Honda CR-V Hybrid, finished in meteorite gray, in case you were curious about our exterior color name that we had with us here. So I think it looks pretty darn good, but as always, let's go ahead and start with where the CR-V Hybrid is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 7, indicating that this one is built and assembled here in the US, specifically Indiana, although a lot of the parts do come from Japan, of course. Final assembly point is Indiana. But starting up front, you got that black front grille with active grille shutter. So grille shutters are going to open and close dependent upon the engine cooling that is needed at any given time. To the side, LED headlights with LED daytime running lights do come standard. You get the automatic feature. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. To the bottom corners there, you do have some front air curtains helping direct air around the wheel and tire combination for a little better aerodynamics. And I do like those little silver accents found on the bottom portion of that front bumper as well. I think that they look pretty darn good as well. A little more aggressive look up front because of them. So big fan of that. But that pretty much rounds out the front end of the CR-V here. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of this one, gloss black roof rails will come standard for all trim levels across the board. Gonna find some chrome window surrounds coming standard as well. Rear privacy glass also coming standard for all trim levels. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are power adjustable gloss black side mirrors coming standard. You will get integrated turn signals, and they will actually be heated then as well for all trim levels. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, this is where it differentiates a little bit here. So 18-inch gloss black alloys for the Sport and Sport L trim levels, but then 19-inch gloss black alloys for our Sport Touring that we have with us here today. Pretty darn cool design as well, if you ask me, but that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, all the way to the top, you will find a body colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. Got those LED taillights. They do come standard for all trim levels across the board. You gotta love that. And then just below it all, this is a very interesting setup. I'll tell you why here. You get dual exhaust outlets, it looks like, but there's actually just a single exhaust outlet. It is tucked away underneath on the passenger side, and that is where the exhaust actually comes out. On the other side, those chrome surrounds, it's just filled in with plastic. So it's such a weird, I mean, it's a good look, but it's like the left side is fake and the right side is real. But anyways, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the CR-V, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it is a power tailgate for the Sport L and then a hands-free power tailgate for the Sport Touring if you wanted that. But there is a button on the key fob. There's a rubberized button, of course, on the tailgate itself as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 36.3 cubic feet behind that second row. If that was not enough space, there's a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 76.5 cubic feet then. There's a 12-volt power power outlet back there. There is LED cargo lighting. Loved seeing that. You don't always get that. Got some tie down anchors back there. You got a couple grocery bag hooks on both sides in the back then as well. But so then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 41 inches even. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the rear seats there. Rear center armrest with cup holders does come standard. Rear ventilation also coming standard, and dual rear USB charging ports also coming standard. That's pretty darn cool. But making our way up to the front seats, 10-way power adjustable driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar coming standard. You get cloth seats with the Sport, leather seating down with the Sport L for leather of course, and Sport Touring. Power adjustable passenger seat for those two trims as well. You get memory settings for those two trims as well. And then heated front seats, believe it or not, come standard on this thing. So that is pretty darn cool. I got those on right now actually, but overall as far as seat comfort goes, it was okay. It gets the job done. Now, I always say this in my past reviews, whenever there's horizontal seams, it's not as good as it could be, because usually the vertical seams eliminate those awkward pressure points. But having said that, these seats are perfectly fine. I didn't have any issues with them. The power lumbar is plenty adjustable as well, so big fan of that. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for all trim levels. It's also heated for the Sport Touring trim level in case you wanted that. That button's located on the bottom portion of the steering wheel. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. You got your Honda logo on the one side. When you flip it over, lock, unlock, the button to pop the tailgate, and the circular button, that is going to be your remote start, which comes standard by the way, so that's pretty cool too. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just to the left of those center air vents there. And so once started up, when it comes to the gauges, you got kind of the analog speedometer found to the right, and then the left side is going to be your digital readout. That's going to be a 7-inch screen, but that gives you things like your battery charging information, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, average miles per gallon at any given time, and it lets you know if you're in that EV mode, kind of cruising around city streets like I am right now, just sitting with the vehicle on. So that's pretty cool. Trip A, Trip B is located in the bottom middle there too. But did want to also mention, when you change the drive mode, it is going to adjust the colors a little bit up there too. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. You're going to find a power moonroof, believe it or not, for all trim levels across the board. That's pretty cool. LED interior lighting does come standard. You get an auto dimming rear view mirror for the Sport L and Sport Touring trim levels. Also wireless phone charger for those two trims as well. Dual zone climate control does come standard across the board, so I liked that. Also, you have that honeycomb mesh kind of air vent style design that you find in the Civic and some of the other Honda vehicles out there. I like the gloss black accents found in the doors, the silver door handle. That's a very nice touch as well. It feels high quality there. Also have an overhead sunglass holder. I liked seeing that up there. I think one thing that I would change though is surrounding the shifter, it's a matte black plastic. Would have been kind of nice to see that finished in a gloss black like that's on the doors. I think that would be a nice little finish there. But just behind that, you do have a couple cup holders, and within the center armrest, there's plenty of space within that center armrest, so definitely no issues there. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen here. There's essentially two different screens, again dependent upon the trim level that you go with. So there's a 7-inch color touchscreen display for the Sport trim, and then a 9-inch color touchscreen display for the Sport L and Sport Touring trim levels. Either way, you get Bluetooth and audio streaming, you get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. However, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay only comes with a 9-inch screen if you wanted that. Factory navigation system is going to come with the Sport Touring that we have with us here today. You also have the ability to check out those cool Honda clocks like they always have on their vehicles. So you can go in the clock, and then there's a bunch of different clock settings you can choose to play around with, clock faces, things like that. So there's so many different options, and I think yeah, Honda does a wonderful job with that. That's so stinking cool. It's just a Honda thing. But anyways, you of course can check out your radio information up there as well. So there's actually a different sound system for each trim level, believe it or not. You get 6 speakers and 240 watts with the Sport, 8 speakers and 320 watts for the Sport L, and then a 12-speaker Bose sound system with a subwoofer for the Sport Touring that we have with us here today. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. And we got Sirius XM today too. That's even cooler. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Bose has always done a wonderful job. I had a Bose sound system in my Infiniti back in the day. It never failed me, never broke. They've been around for forever. Plenty of bass there, plenty of clarity, so absolutely no problems with that sound system there. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen is when you do put the CR-V hybrid in reverse, you guys might be able to hear that. There's going to be this kind of chiming sound so that everyone knows that you're backing up so you don't hit them. And it will give you a rear view camera with a couple different views in the lower left-hand corner there as well. But that, as always, is going to lead us into safety. And so let me start by saying IIHS top safety pick. So wonderful start right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. You get driver and passenger knee airbags up front as well. Rear side impact airbags also come standard actually. Also in the back you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard. You guys know it already. Honda sensing. So collision mitigation braking system, road departure mitigation system, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, traffic jam assist, traffic sign recognition, get a driver attention monitoring system, a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, and for the Sport L and Sport Touring trims, you're also going to get front and rear parking sensors so you don't run into anything. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the CR-V hybrid, excellent MPGs. The fact that either the front wheel drive or the all-wheel drive will give you at least 40 miles per gallon, that's pretty darn impressive. Also, when it comes to reliability, because I know a lot of people like to know those ratings as well, I always check out Consumer Reports for that, so feel free to verify. But what Consumer Reports said about the CR-V specifically is, believe it or not, the hybrid gets an average reliability rating, while the turbocharged 4-cylinder gets an above average reliability rating. I kind of would think it would be the opposite, but that's what Consumer Reports says. As far as room for improvement goes here, I would like to see the gloss black finish surrounding the shifter here. I think that would be pretty darn good and much better than this matte black finish here. Also would love to see some multicolor ambient lighting. I think that would be pretty cool as well. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of the CR-V hybrid in the comments section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media somewhere on the screen if you wanted to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all for 11 years now. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.